Well, hello everyone, and welcome to your weekly dose of Truth Tarot with me, Terry and Nikitas. And I think he's on my shoulder here. There he is, Bird. He's joining us, but being a little bit distant. All right, so this week is the week of November 21st to the 27th, and I'd like to do a shout out to two Angelas in my life. That is my mom, who is Angela, and a good friend of mine over in Hong Kong, and she is an Angie. So happy birthday to you for the 21st of November. All right. So what we're going to work with is I've been feeling really strongly. The last bit is the change of seasons. Now you could say we all feel it really strongly. We all feel what's going on, but not quite sure why this one feels a little bit stronger than usual, right down to my bones. And I'm curious what's going on. So let's find out what's going on with the planet and why this experience is a lot deeper than I've usually felt it. You know, growing up, you kind of felt the darkening hours. Now it's different in the southern hemisphere, but it's still going to be a change in whatever your experiences are there. But here in the northern hemisphere, it's always been kind of getting tired and sleepy. Yeah, there's that. But, okay, diminishing hours, tired and sleepy. There is definitely something else going on, and I can't quite put my finger on it, so I would like to do that. What is going on? So, our first card is going to be the Knight of Cups. So, the Knight of Cups will talk about our masculine energy. So, this is the active energy that can be, yes, it can be emotional, but it's also what flows through the body, right? All of the fluids that flow through the body. Also, what is moving. So, it's like, okay, we've offered all of this throughout the last months, and now you might be just experiencing the slowdown. Let's see what the next card says. Does it tell us we're going to slow down? Does it tell us, exactly what's happening? We know it's masculine energy that has been used, whether it's emotional, whether it's the flow in our bodies. Where is it going? It's going into Six of Fire. So this is the present, really. I'm looking at this as sort of, I work in the vertical, which means everything in the past, present, and future all occurring now. I like to work that way, but we also know there is a past, a present, and a future. We know that there was a yesterday and a today and tomorrow. So I like to look at that twofold. That's kind of how I see things and work it. So when I say the past, I'm also referring to its present influence, that dynamic, and what toll it would take on us. So here it says, well, the wisdom of the usage. Now we're in real dynamic energy. So water is the energy of the flow of our emotions. It's the flow of love in the universe. It is when somebody is super watery, they can either be victimized by their own self pity, or they can be the kind of person who goes around and helps everyone, tries to be there for everyone. Many times it's something that needs to be solved for many of us. Whereas if it's completely balanced, there's that Knight of Cups that goes out and knows exactly where to offer love and consideration, compassion, empathy, etc. One of the things that can go awry is when someone kind of thinks, now this is my view, you can disagree with it, that's fine, but I cannot feel in any way that I am empathizing with everyone on the planet. I think that if somebody empathizes, try and empathize with two different people at once. You will, if you have any sensitivity whatsoever to empathy, I think you'll start to feel a wee bit overloaded. Now, if you get three people, so people like me find it difficult to be in a room with a lot of people. I find it difficult. Um, even family members. It doesn't really matter who. It's just a lot of people, a lot of energy, a lot of things to feel. So, every Sunday I'm in the room with um, three family members and, love them dearly. I want to be with them, but I find it exhausting. It is so exhausting to empathize with all of whatever's going on with them. So, I mean, if you're there's two things that go on. It's if you feel sensitive to the world and everyone on it, I think you'd hide away. It's like reading thoughts. People tell me, "Oh, I read everyone's thoughts," and I'm like, "Well, how are you sitting here? How are you sitting there?" If I feel 10 different people, I am completely overloaded and overwhelmed. And if I start hearing everyone's thoughts, which I often do, I that's my job, is to tune in and see what someone's experiencing. It doesn't mean I know their thoughts literally, but boy, oh boy, I can sit down and do a reading with someone and they'll tell me, my God, you're telling me exactly what I'm thinking. It's not so hard. It's basically observing. It's not exactly that I'm reading the thoughts that people have, because our minds are interfacing all the time. So we're having this full on experience. But if you heard everybody, you wouldn't be able to go out. Like, I have a nephew who, as he was growing up, we realized, wow, he's very much like his aunt. And he's obviously in a male body. I'm in a female body. So female bodies are a little bit more capable of tolerating more emotion. But for him, he's very much an isolated person. He finds just being overwhelmed. I remember when he was a little kid, uh, there's one thing I couldn't stand was to go into a shopping mall, to go into a department store. It was like really one of the things I absolutely hated doing. Grocery store, all those things. I just hated it. Now I tolerate it because you have to do it. But yeah, never liked it at all. Don't like shopping either. Just not a good thing unless it's super quiet and you're the only one in the store. That's fine. But really don't like it. And when my little nephew was, I think he was about 3 or 4 years old, his mom and my mom, which is my sister and my mom, with him went to a store. They planned their whole day. They made time to go to the store so they could pick something up, and they looked for parking. They got downtown. They did it all. They arranged their day around this, and they're walking in, and my little nephew takes the two doors and holds them and won't go in. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. Will not go into the store. And being that he won't go into the store. My sister, who also can't stand crowds, and she's a little bit better than I am, but she doesn't like it either. She just said, "Okay, let's leave." She respected that her son couldn't do it. Good thing, bad thing, I don't know. I'm just pointing out that these sensitivities. So um, if we're the Knight of Cups, and we've done a lot of this action within the world of emotions and feeling and empathy and compassion, we're going to get into a place where there's more and more activity. This is more and more activity here. More and more fire is coming up. Fire is certainly dynamism. That is dynamic, moving. Think of fire. Not that water doesn't have energy. It all has energy. But in this case, it's the energy within the individual. What gives me, starts my engine, let's say. Think of a combustion engine. So, so that says, one, either we learn to use this water wisely as the energy accelerates. We have to learn to use it wisely. Or let's see if it tells us something else. Let's see if it gives us the negative. Or we may find that we are in, um, well, actually, it's telling us we need to learn to use it wisely. This is the 9 of coins. And that says, to be able to gain from it, we do need to learn how to do it. Now, learn how to deal with these two aspects. So let's go back. If we want to have a better gain in the physical world, we want to ultimately get there. Because I'm not asking for a prediction. I'm asking what's happening. And I'm asking, when I ask what's happening, it can also give me partly in all of this a solution. So it is. When your energy is getting used, when you are in your masculine, all of us can be in our masculine. We're using that energy. If we're using it well for a lot of different things, we will have a gain. If we're using it badly, well, you won't get that gain. So why am I saying that? Well, because I've asked the question. The question I have asked is saying, look, I'm not quite sure what's going on. I feel I'm energized, but I also feel this slowness going on. What's going on? Well, it's saying, look, you use a lot of energy. It is dynamic. It's dynamic within you, and the gains will be seen later, even though I might not be able to be completely active. So if I look back and say, well, what has my knight been doing? So has your Knight of Cups been going around offering things to everyone, offering your time, offering your energy, offering your support, offering your compassion, offering your empathy? Where are you pathologized? You want to be able to shift and change that so the fire can also burn out those pathologies and come to wisdom. Because this says wisdom, but we must also come to wisdom. We can't assume that, oh, right, the cards are just, I don't use the cards to flatter myself. If I find the cards are flattering me, I always put a modicum of doubt and look at, all right, you're flattering me today, but where's going to be my, um, where will be the downfall? Because what goes up must come down. Sure, I can think properly about things, but when I'm looking at the cards, it's not just going to tell you, look, everything's going to be great and fine. It's telling me, hey, look, you use a lot of energy. This can be throughout my life. It could be throughout lifetimes. So you can look at that as throughout lifetimes. Now it's dealing with everyone, so it's not dealing specifically with me, but it says, okay, throughout your lifetimes, how have you used your energy? How do you use that emotional energy? Well, sometimes not so well. Sometimes I could have had an overemphasis on empathy or compassion for others, which is the improper use of those things. If that gets corrected and goes into wisdom, you will have gains. So here's this seasonal, we're in the, well, it's not quite, I guess the middle of the season, right? We're the middle of fall, middle of spring. So in this period, which is also a very dynamic period, can't forget that fall is harvest time, spring is growth, etc. This time of year, we can get a lot of energy shifting. This is telling us to have those gains, we must shift the way in which our Knight of Cups operates. If your Knight of Cups is working really well, but I would do a checklist. Make a checklist of what you think you empathize with. Make a checklist of where your energy goes all day, especially if you're getting tired, especially if you're feeling a little run down. If you're not, you could still do a checklist to ensure that you don't get run down. Though this could also, I want to look at winter. So I think we've really covered that. Let's look at winter. What's good? Winter. We'll look at winter first, and then maybe should I bring in summer too? Okay, so we'll bring in northern and southern hemisphere. So winter, summer. So Ace of Pentacles. Well, obviously it's a new start in the physical world. That's going to be for summer and winter. And what happens to us? 5. Well, there you go. This is what I kind of uh, look towards. Is sure, things can go really well, and I will enjoy those times of things going really well. I will definitely do that because you're going to have those gains. But there's going to be that moment where you're going to go downwards. So the new beginning, when you get into winter or you get into summer, you're going to find some difficulties. You can see these two wee ones captured or being saved. I don't know which one, but definitely in a battle, they don't look too happy. So how are we going to be able to improve that? Well, you'll have to look back at what that King of Cups was doing. You'll have to do that. Meaning, were you experiencing empathy too much? Do you think that your definition of empathy or how you empathize is real? is it actually real? Because when it comes to that time, meaning real, when I hear people say, oh, I have compassion for the world, I have empathy for the world. Yeah, that's very um, abstract. It's a statement that one makes without understanding the actual experience. So, yes, I can have a conceptualized, abstract, ideologized view of something, but I do not appreciate lip service, especially when we have problems in life. If you pay lip service and you say, well, I have compassion for the world, so the world should have compassion for me, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. People don't necessarily have that sense that they're going to have compassion for you. So I would look at this as a little bit of a warning for winter. You might be tired. You might wear yourself down. So now that we know this, through this fall, you may need to use a lot of energy. Or if you notice your body slowing down, go with it so that when this moment comes, it won't be too difficult. And what's the outcome of that? Is the Lovers. So you'll be able to, find your space, your way of dealing with things when it comes through the next 3 months. So this is definitely this week, but also it's a prediction to all the way from today to March, right? We're going to go into spring there, whereas now we're entering winter in the southern hemisphere, entering into summer, and they'll be going into fall. So if you think about your year, I like to look at, well, I got an entire year. I don't have to do everything right now. I need to plan things out. Always a good thing, right? To plan, what do I want to accomplish this week? What do I want to accomplish in a month, 3 months, 5 months, 5 years? Those are very successful people do that kind of thing. And not everything has to be done in a day, because if you look over a year, well, you definitely have moments where, like I had a bit of um, a lung infection last week. It was a little virus that got in there, and I had to take some time to go slow and take care of myself and sleep a lot more hours. And now I'm coming out of it, and I'm super rested. But last night, like as soon as I started feeling good this week, I started doing a bit too much. And as I did a bit too much, well, last night I could feel the tickle in my throat coming. So I said, all right, you're going to start a really slow morning. So those are the kinds of considerations you can go through. Take it from the wisdom of someone who's made all the mistakes in life and not listened to the cards, etc., and get yourself into a place where you'll have a long, strong, successful, healthy life. Bye, everyone. See you next week.